Year. We out here. What's up, chat? How we doing? Bro, there's nothing like a cold black cherry vanilla bang. I love it. Freaking love it. No packs, right? No packs are dropping. Please, no packs drop while I'm on the air. That would be like the ultimate salt all night. They have extensions on these browsers that will auto refresh the page you tell it to on a timed interval. That way you're not refresh. So I set it to 30 seconds last night. Just kept looking over, refresh. Nope, no packs. So it would be my luck to kind of stalk the refresh all night, and then when I go live, they drop. But I don't think they're gonna drop. We'll see. Anyway, what's up, chat? We're live. Crispy first in chat. What's up, Gun? To bite the OKC chalk value or not to bite? That is the question. This site is full of 4 to 5K plausible plays so far, and it's a slate full of 7 to 8 point spreads. I'm expecting ugliness. We know Westbrook out. We'll talk about all the ins and outs in just a moment. Get caught up on chat here. Darn, been snapping. I'm always, that 1 or 2 player difference is getting irritating. Gun, help a brother out. If I went first, I'll give you 10 G's. Okay, buddy. Well, I'll hold you to that. Broderick Parrish, OKC chalk it is. What's up, Quan? Solid picks here. No Van Vliet, no monies. Van Vliet and Steph Curry last night. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Connor in the chat. E made it happen. What's up, buddy? Pinstripe Pimp out here. Damian Carnahan. Yo, what's good, Gun? Hyped to watch the whole stream. I'm glad you're here. Tom Brady in the house. Yo, what's good, Gun? Hyped to watch the whole show. My guy Fred VanVleet went crazy. I've been a Raps fan since yeah. Fred VanVleet was on one last night. What's up, James Fenner? That Freddie V pivot from PG-13. Kemba helped me catch a little bit. That's nice. Cotton Candy Bank's pretty solid. Cotton Candy Bank's all right. A little taste. I don't know if I can do a whole can of that consistently. Purple Haze, I think I could deal with a little bit. They gave me some bang the other night. I always order like 7-8 bang at a time from like Instacart or Walmart Plus, and usually they don't have enough, like 7 or 8, and then the shopper will take it upon themselves to just get another flavor. And usually I'll get a random flavor thrown in, and I'll try that. But I kind of stick to what I know, man. Black cherry vanilla is my favorite. Yeah. Hey, last night, how'd you guys do? As we refresh, any of the Top Shot homies in the chat, man. If they drop packs, let me know. Last night, Fred VanVleet, your beast of the night, 77.75 DKP, and then Steph Curry, 73.25. And that was a little bit of pushback on where I was. Like, I didn't think VanVleet and Curry were bad plays inherently, but just the way my interest was pushing me towards like the 9-ish K Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi, guys like that. It got me away from Curry and VanVleet. So that would be hashtag DFS for that to come through. I ended up being all right because I just did not have any faith in Eric Pascal, and the field kind of did. So me being low on him and off of him almost completely on FanDuel worked out in my favor. But outside of that, it's like all the other plays that we thought could come through, like Miles Turner. We talked specifically on this stream about his block potential, 5 blocks, 22 and 11, got there. And like Westbrook 50 at 9.1, right? Like, you're not mad that if you eliminate the fact that Curry did what he did and VanVleet did what he did, we played Westbrook for 50 at 9-1. We thought it was too cheap. So it's like it wasn't the wrong play. It just was, there was a better play out there. So I'm not really mad inherently with any of the decisions I made last night. It just ended up going the wrong way. Jeremy Grant got there. Mason Plumlee went bananas. I did have Grant, did not have Plumlee. But it is what it is. Most of my core plays, my higher own plays, did what I expected them to do. But just the way it shook out, Curry and Van Vliet decided to go nuclear. Is what it is, though. It's like MLB The Show marketplace. Definitely, me, my boy Jake, anybody in the Discord that's been grinding MLB The Show, definitely Top Shot reminds us a lot of that marketplace, and it kind of feel like we've been training for this, right? Playing the marketplace. It's just, I wish it was a little smoother, right? And I think that's the number one complaint. The website's kind of janky. C4 all the way. C4, I've used C4 as a pre-workout. Do they sell canned drinks? I definitely remember the first time I took C4, like I could feel my heart beating through my chest. And I was like, what do I do? And they were like, just work out until you don't. And I was like, oh, okay. Your boy Raj is on to something. He said pivoting away from chalk is the way to go. I mean, that's not like a Raj take, right? It's just game theory, leveraging the field on ownership. There's not a whole lot of, like, if I simulated that Raptors Magic game, like, how many times for me is Lowry and Van Vliet the most elite plays as a combo? Knowing that game didn't, like, go overtime or anything crazy, versus, you know, the pair of 240 games that we had. And like I said, what I got out of that 240 game, Kyrie got me 50. The other 240 game with Westbrook got me 50. It's like those players did what I wanted them to do. Just Van Vliet and Curry did more, right? Like, it's not like if Westbrook and Kyrie dropped, 38, 42, something like that, and then I'd be like, oh, fudge. But no, my research was right. There was just better plays. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Favorite bang drink? It's this one, bro. I got a whole fridge of black cherry vanilla bang. It's literally, like, the best drink. Just know, if you're getting bang, make sure you got a little food in your belly, man. It's got 300 milligrams of caffeine, I think. But outside of that, it's, like, it's very flavorful. No sugar, no cholesterol. I think most of the energy drinks these days are finding no sugar recipes to be a little better. No crash. Gary Trent been taking advantage of CJ being out. Yeah, Gary Trent. He's a chucker. And a lot of times if I'm low on Lillard, I'll up my Trent just a little bit. Look at what he did in this game. He shot 8 for 16, 7 of 9 from downtown. Massive game for him at 6K. And you look at 6K on Gary Trent, you're just like, I don't know if I'm going to play 6K for Gary Trent, but he absolutely crushed it there. You really couldn't have gone wrong with a lot of the Blazers. Really, Damian Lillard was probably the worst play, ironically. What are you going to do? You kept me away from being Pascal last night. Well, I'm glad I could help. And don't get me wrong. If you play Pascal, I don't think there's anything wrong with you, especially if you're on DraftKings. It seems like every week DraftKings is like you're trying to go studs and scrubs, and then the scrubs they're just not there. And even in my projections, Pascal projected like he would be an okay play. And then when Nasir Little got ruled out, it was just like, man, Pascal is the best of the worst in terms of could we get 20 minutes. So, like, I don't think you're crazy for playing Pascal, but like if a player that not great is chalk, like it's scary. And I even said it in I don't know if I said it on the stream, but I said it in the pre-lock Discord talking to Chronic. I was like, man, we've seen them literally pivot to Juan Toscano-Anderson in the same game that he starts just because he's playing so poor. And that's exactly what happened last night. Kevin Looney got hurt, and then we saw Juan Toscano-Anderson kind of take over in front of Pascal. So I'm glad I was able to get you guys low on him, if nothing else. But, like, if you played him, I don't think you're I'm definitely not pointing and laughing at you because I understand why you played him. Thank you for bringing up Toscano Anderson. Yeah. The show's coming to Xbox, and it's cross-plat. I'm happy, man. Now we can really interact, man. I've been trying to do a MLB The Show tournament during the baseball All-Star break for years. Just have some fun with it. Hopefully it's fully cross-plat, like PS4 versus PS5 versus Xbox, all that good stuff. That'd be fun. Shakes McGee on C4. Bro, it was an experience. I think maybe now C4 wouldn't jolt me as much because I literally, sometimes I'll have 2 bangs in a day, and we're talking, like I said, 300 milligrams of caffeine plus, a cup of coffee here and there. It's not healthy, I know. Every time I drink bang, I feel like a different person after. Anyway, guys, there's no Raj today. I reached out to a couple of people to fill in. No one came in. So I guess it's gonna be me freestyling, and I guess that's cool. Just keeping an eye on the chat. Let's go pull up the 3 p.m. tweet from Fantasy Labs. They drop it every day. Devin Booker probable. Andre the Giant Drummond is questionable, and that's a big one. We know that he's on trade alert, trade watch, as a likely rental for the Cavs. I think it's closing on the last year of his deal. And the Cavs, of course, are set at center, so they probably will rent him out. So anytime he's got a Q tag or he's at risk of injury, I definitely feel like the organization would be more likely to be cautious with him. Miles Turner questionable, Terry Rozier questionable, D'Angelo Russell questionable, Tyler Hero probable, Stone Cold Steven Adams questionable, and what we do know, Kemba Walker has been ruled out. It is night 2 of a back-to-back for them. But they also are without Peyton Pritchard, right? So Jeff Teague looks like he might float up as a potential starter and potential value play. He's going to join a long list of 4 to 5K guys tonight that will probably project well. The Oklahoma City Thunder's another team we'll talk about. Rudy Gay ruled out. Maybe a couple more minutes there for Keldon Johnson, or maybe they stretch that bench out a little bit. The Thunder active players, Theo Maledon, Lou Dort, Justin Jackson, Darius Baisley, Al Horford, Ham Diallo, Darius Miller, Kenrich Williams, Mike Muscala, and Isaiah Roby. This is an NBA basketball team that's going to compete tonight. Have fun. Good luck. Have fun. We know Westbrook Neto out. Juancho Hernan Gomez was active in case of emergency last game. Seems like more of the same here. Looney, we expect to miss a couple games, and then, yeah, okay. So that's catching us up on the news from Fantasy Labs. If something drops while we're live, be sure to spam me in the chat. Let me know, and I'll try and react to it. Oh, no. I forgot to post projections. Holy. All right, give me just a second, chat. I got to get my projections sorted that way when we're doing this. We'll be good. So, yeah. Cruz Boucher's been on a slump. I think his minutes is the slump cause, right? I think that's what's doing it. Chat, give me 1 second. I have to do some secret squirrel stuff. So I was just going to say stream starting soon. But I'm here. Don't leave. I'm here. I'm literally here. I love you. I would never leave you or forsake you. 1 second. Download. So basically what I'm doing, chat, is I'm adjusting my projections in the spreadsheet, but I don't want to expose a certain the spreadsheet URL while we are on the air, because then it leaks, and then people that don't pay for VIP all of a sudden have VIP. It's a whole thing. So I'll be with you in just a moment. And I just heard Dante meowing, Daddy. Chronic in the chat. Chronic has class in an hour, guys. Cost myself hundreds by swapping off Looney and Bays to Pascal and swapping off of Bays. I mean, hey, if you play Looney, give yourself a little bit of a break. He got injured. Why is my thing not opening here? What's going on? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, no, if you play Kevin Looney, give yourself a little bit of a break, because he did get injured. And I don't think he was going to, like, break a slate or anything, but I did have, like, 20%, maybe 30% of them on my FanDuel builds. He was 10% owned by the field. It was just kind of like a value play stock and stuff for type. So, I don't know. It's not like he played and completely tanked. Anytime somebody gets injured, it is what it is. They got injured, right? Chronic, I remember you tweeted, "I hate DFS. Any different hobby?" No, Chronic's out in the. I don't want to put a business out there, but he's in the buy and sell retail market now. All right, chat. I think I got it. I think I'm done coding. I did have an intermission screen, but I don't think it was currently set up for this. All right, let's bring you guys back in. Live screen over. All right, here we go. We're back. Hey, it's me again. How are we doing? All right, now we can crank up. That's on me, man. You know what? You know why that happened? It was about 10 minutes before lock when I set the thing to go live. I cooked a Hot Pocket real quick, and I was trying to eat it real fast before I had to turn the camera on. And I forgot all about sorting my projections. All right, now we can talk some basketball. So let's get it cranked up. Indiana Pacers at the Milwaukee Bucks. First game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner, maybe, question mark, taking on Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. 233 total, and the Milwaukee Bucks home team favored by 9 here. Pacers, of course, catching night 2 of a back-to-back, facing the Grizzlies yesterday. Grizzlies seem to be in a blowout one way or the other every game, and it's killing me because I can't quit Ja Morant. The Bucks side here, I think this is going to be the story of every game if we just look at it. We got a 9-point spread, 7, 1, 2, 8, 9, 7, 8. We got over half the slate as 7 to 9 point spread here. So I think your decisions when rostering this game is really going to be based on you thinking this game stays competitive long enough to extract some value here. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11-2 on FanDuel, 11K on DraftKings. Don't need me to tell you that Giannis is good at basketball. If you think he's going to get 35 minutes of competitive basketball, he's absolutely a guy that can drop 60, and I got him projected right at 60 fantasy points. So I definitely wouldn't mind starting my lineup there, and I think if we do foreshadow to the rest of the slate how many 4K players are on this slate that are viable, a slew of 4K guys where we'll give you access to guys like Giannis a little bit easier. So even if they get you 60 and you feel like normally that's exactly what you need, but you're still going to be able to get access to those raw points and move forward. So I definitely have no pushback on Giannis if you think this game stays close enough, long enough. The Q tag here was Miles Turner, 6,700 on DraftKings, 7,400 on FanDuel. I guess he got nicked up last night. Let me see what the official word on him is from the depth chart. He played in Tuesday's night game. It's possible they'll rest him in the back-to-back. If he can't give it a go, Indiana could opt to go small and start Doug McDermott in Turner's place as they did earlier in the season. Goga Pataze could also see more minutes. So would be something to watch. Normally, I would not really like Turner in this spot. The rebound rate for the Bucks really, really high. They don't really give up a lot of blocks, but maybe the pace surprises us at 6,700. I probably don't push the issue with him on FanDuel. Sabonis is getting doggone cheap on DraftKings, 8,300 for the minutes that he's playing, especially if Turner were to be out. The matchup, of course, is very, very tough, but we up in the pace a little bit. And Sabonis is going to be a linchpin of this team's success in this game if they are able to compete. And 8,300 is just a really, really low price tag for somebody that just lives at 40+, right? So my soft projections have him at 45, 46. And if he, we're able to play 35+ minutes in a competitive game, I think that's there. We can get a Malcolm Brogdon revenge game going back to Milwaukee. He's pretty cheap on both sides. Again, it's going to be not the easiest of matchups, but certainly a little pep in his step because of going to playing against his old team. I do like the price on a Brogdon Sabonis handcuff, and then the Bucks is spin the wheel, make a deal. Giannis is self-explanatory. Chris Middleton has been somewhat consistent overall on the season. I think he's got to be averaging about 40 fantasy points a game. Yeah, 41.1 fantasy points per game. There's a 29 against Charlotte. That was night 2 of a back-to-back. Third game in 4 nights. It was just a tough stretch. Then he came back home, 25 minutes of a blowout against Portland, went right back to 40+. So if you're looking for 40+, I certainly believe Chris Middleton in a competitive game could be that guy for you. Chat, what are you doing with this one before we matriculate on to the next one? Kay Johnson says that birthday cake bash bang is life. I don't know if I've had that one. Babe, have you had birthday cake bang? Is it good?
Yeah, it's like a cake, like a birthday cake.
Okay. Literally. All right. Well, my old lady vouches for you.
I seen cotton candy was a favorite too. Is my favorite.
Yeah, cotton candy's pretty. Cotton candy's her favorite. Okay. Chronic, I remember you tweeted once. Okay, see that? Izzo, who does Kronos like tonight? Kronos. Are you talking about Chronic? 75% Looney miscatchment, double up by 0.5. Ouch. Faded Curry 100%. He goes off as usual. That's the Steph Curry way, man. Steph Curry's about to be the new Trae Young. Last year, Trae Young was just like here and there, so we ended up just playing 20% of them where we can get them. Quan says I need a PS5. Well, talk to Chronic. He might got you. It's very painful. I messed up by not playing Looney. Blah, 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 blah. That Sabonis price is great on DraftKings. I completely agree with you, Mark. Paul says Jeremy Lamb is to play. The Bucks give up a lot of threes. They are the 7th fastest team. Dante is the worst individual defender on the team. Sabonis is cheap. Yo, Paul with the fire. I like that thought, all right? If we're going to attack the Milwaukee Bucks, we know where they give up the most points, whether it be real points or fantasy points. So look at 3 points, 3-pointers per game allowed, or points via the 3-point allowed. Milwaukee give up the 3rd most points via the 3-ball in the NBA. So if you trust Jeremy Lamb to be the most efficient and volume 3-point shooter here for the Pacers, I don't disagree. 7 for him. Even Justin Holiday might take advantage of chucking some threes here. I know that's not like a fun play, but we've seen him chuck 8, 10, 9 three balls in a game this season. So definitely wouldn't be a fun play or a comfort play pre-lock, but there's a couple games here where he's busted through the 30-point glass ceiling. So I don't hate the thought of that. I do like taking advantage of the 3-ball here, and I think that is the way to go. And do we get to Dougie McBuckets at 47 if Turner's out? I probably don't. Solid picks is Bobby Portis is the only play from this game. I got Bobby Portis 47.5K. I don't think he's the only play, right? Drew Holiday versus it's the Holiday brothers going at it. Yup. Mark says, I'm a little unsure of Lamb today. I do like his price, but should be good if he's starting. I agree with that. Sabonis was 10.1K, January 24, 10 days later price. Yeah, Sabonis' price point. Like, this is one of those volume, minutes, responsibility, point per minute production could trump the matchup if we trust them to play the minutes. And I think that the Pacers are scrappy enough, long enough. I don't think it'll be necessarily close on the final score, but I do think they're scrappy long enough that Sabonis could get, even 30 minutes at 8,300 might be worth it, right? Curly Binked because no Marcus Smart. Check the stat muse. I definitely. We talked about that in the VIP Discord. Marcus Smart is a really good wing defender. I still think that the Celtics should be above average defensively, even without Marcus Smart. But Steph Curry, bro. Sometimes you just can't guard Steph Curry. He's pulling up from hell no range, as my old friend Dion used to say. Any tier 1s yet? Not yet. McDougie sneaky for that game. I wish McDermott's price was a little bit better. Maybe 4,100 on FanDuel's a chip in a chair, but it is what it is. 18 says, I know you love me. I know you care, so shout whenever, and I'll be there. Okay, buddy. Cherry lemonade bang? No. Y'all are tripping. Y'all, I told you, when I order from Walmart Plus or Instacart, and they are out of black cherry vanilla bang, they take it upon themselves to be like, I'll just get this bang instead. They got me black cherry lemonade or whatever, or cherry lemonade. Nope. Not gonna be able to do it. No. So y'all, Josh, Quan, I don't know what y'all are on. Y'all like fish flavored drinks, soda. I don't know, man. Sixers at the Hornets. Next game on the docket. Projected starting 5 for the Sixers: Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid taking on Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, and Cody Zeller. PJ Washington out. Terry Rozier questionable. There's like a crowd of yelling outside, and I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we don't hear any pops, right? With Terry Rozier questionable, if he were to miss, what we saw last game was that LaMelo Ball drew a start and then ended up getting into some quick foul trouble. Wasn't necessarily the worst play in the world at the end of the day, but it wasn't what a lot of people expected, and now he's been priced up to $7K. So 30 fantasy points, you really, that was probably the floor game that you wanted at 6-5 against the Miami Heat. But like I said, foul troubles, he had 5 fouls on the game. In a normal game, if he stays out of foul potential at 7K, he still does have upside. So I wouldn't really be pushed off of him here, but I probably would need Terry Rozier to be out. And right now I got Rozier questionable with a right ankle sprain. It says he did work out on Tuesday, and he'll be evaluated on Wednesday to determine if his ankle is sufficiently healed. If not, LaMelo Ball should earn his second career start alongside Devontae Graham. So if that happens, then I'm willing to still invest in a little bit of LaMelo and a 66 on FanDuel. I feel even better. Without PJ Washington, I'm not for sure that it's Miles Bridges starting. We've seen them start one of the Martins in the past and maybe still bring Bridges off of the bench, but Bridges has worked well with LaMelo, so maybe it's one of those, if LaMelo starts, they'll go ahead and throw Bridges out there as well. We'll see. If Terry Rozier is out and LaMelo's in, Malik Monk came off the bench last game and really just kind of busted out a massive game. 40 minutes played against Miami. Probably not something we would expect, but it does make sense when you had a point guard in foul trouble and no Terry Rozier, that deep minutes for somebody off the, for him off the bench was going to be there. So maybe I'd push that down to 30 minutes, but even at 30 minutes at 4K might be enough to gamble on. So kind of pencil him down. This is a 7-point spread, so maybe there's at least a chance that this game gets lopsided, and if it did, maybe Monk's even more lucrative. Cody Zeller, 5'5" and 5'8". I got him at 31 minutes, and I do think that's significant because the absence of P.J. Washington means that there's really only one backup center, and it's Bismack Biyombo. So we might get deeper minutes than from Cody Zeller than we ever before. And he did go 39 minutes against Miami, and I think that's the game where PJ kind of went down, and 34 minutes the game prior. So Zeller, for what he has been historically, a little bit about a point per minute guy, if those minutes are going to be his, at least in the short term, maybe I take some chances. It's certainly not a matchup that I think is an upside matchup against Joel Embiid defense, but I do kind of dig the minutes, and maybe we have a Mason Plumlee situation like last night where Rudy Gobert hasn't been someone that we historically attack, but hey, minutes equal money. We've seen Enes Kanter drop a 20-20 on Embiid before, so maybe Zeller surprises us, but I would have at least tapered expectations. But if he gets that type of run, a shot at 30 fantasy points is definitely a chip in a chair. I'm curious to see where the hole is on the Sixers defense. Let me pull up the DVP chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Philadelphia, the way this chart's color-coded is red is where they're bad, right, where they're giving up a lot of fantasy points, and green means they're strong. Their biggest weakness has been the small forward spot, 44.5 fantasy points per game, which puts them, a couple of within plus minus of 3 fantasy points of the worst in the league. Is Gordon Hayward at 7,200? Is this going to be one of those slates where he just kind of stuns us? I already have extremely deep minutes on him. He played 42 against Miami, 36 plus minutes in regulation games. I do think he has a chip in a chair to be a surprise here. I think 40-plus fantasy points isn't an asinine range of outcomes, and he's averaging 41 in 2 games against Philly this year on 35 minutes. So Gordon Hayward certainly could start into a Tier 2 territory for me. And then Joel Embiid at 10K, 10.2K on a slate full of 4 to 5K guards and forwards, I definitely like the propensity of Embiid to drop one of those 50, 60-plus fantasy point games. He's averaging 45 against Charlotte in 2 games, but that's in just 30 minutes. So if we put that 30 minutes into like a 35, and this game could stay a little bit more competitive, I definitely think Embiid has the potential to be one of the highest scoring players on the slate. So that's that. Do we play any of these other Sixers players here? Maybe Ben Simmons at 8,200 could give us a shot at 40 plus. Toby at 7.5, 7.3. I kind of think I seesaw to Hayward here as the safer volume usage play, but it really just a dependence on this game staying close. I think the tiebreaker for this game staying close, for me at least, is the fact that Philadelphia is on the road. They seem to be sustaining that Jekyll and Hyde home road splits thing and playing a little bit elite at home and a little bit more average on the road. So maybe the Hornets scrap, and we've seen the Hornets at home scrap with the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'll put a little faith in the Hornets keeping this game close. So if that's the case, Joel Embiid, if I can get 12 rounds of Embiid against Zeller, yeah, I'll be a buyer in that. Let's see what you guys got before we move on to the next one. You got the Star Blast? Nice. Star Blast, wasn't that the one that was initially exclusive to like military bases? My boy Shady, one of our service members in the RunDFS.com VIP, he shipped me. They had 2 flavors that was like exclusive to military bases, and he shipped me 4 of them. But yeah, my favorite, James, I see you, is Black Cherry Vanilla. They didn't have Black Cherry. Yeah, they didn't have it. We on gas. Okay, buddy. Embiid on that Charlotte pack. All right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I should be repeating some of the stuff I see in chat. LaMelo Ball will get 50. He doesn't get that many fouls. I definitely think, LaMelo Ball has that potential. The matchup here is a little bit more neutral to bad, but I think he's just been a do-it-all type of player. That if you tell me P.J. Washington is out and Terry Rozier's out, the minutes right there are a given for LaMelo, and then this team's going to need some more rebounding. Not that PJ represented more than 5 to 8 rebounds on an average day, but I think there's more boards to go around, and that might even just be a bigger spike for Hayward. So I definitely think 7K would not be enough to push me off of LaMelo, but I would feel a lot better if Rozier got rolled out. What's Ben Simmons going to do in this revenge game? Shoot 4 times instead of 2? Taking the over on Simmons. 0.53 points made today. I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna stamp that one, Chronic. But if we go to that team metrics chart, 3-pointers allowed. Charlotte's giving up the 4th most points via the 3-ball. So hey, maybe there is a chance that he finds himself open on the outside the key. Small forward position is way too low on FanDuel for Hayward. I don't know, man. Hayward could drop that 50, bro. They could do it. Where can I get that sheet that was just on your screen? This spreadsheet? This is a premium product at RunDFS.com. Unless I had a different thing up. But I think this is the one you're talking about. Ben Simmons is released. Okay, buddy. And Embiid's going to treat Zeller tonight how I treat Chronic. Oh, my God. That's fire, bro. Star Blast, one of my favorite flavors for sure. Yeah. Bang doesn't make a lot of bad flavors, but that cherry lemonade, whatever that wasn't it. I think what got me with that one is I didn't realize it wasn't black cherry vanilla, right? You ever drink something thinking it's something and it's not? Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, you ever drink, I don't know, with your homies or your significant other, and you think you're having like an uncarbonated drink and they have one and you accidentally take a sip of theirs and you're just like stunned, or vice versa. You think you're getting a Coke and you take a sip of unsweet tea and you're just like, what the I think because I wasn't expecting that to, it just, I don't know, it was worse. I don't know. Mavericks at the Atlanta Hawks. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Mavs. Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Kristaps Porzingis taking on Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish Jr., John Collins, Clint Capella. A 223.5 total. 1.5 point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Luka versus Trae, right? The trade. I like I said on Impede, there's going to be enough 4 or 5K guys from OKC and elsewhere that getting the money for these raw point players like a Luka, like a Trey, like guys like that. I think, if you think Luka can give you 60 today, even if you feel like on a normal slate you're overpaying for it at this price point, you fill in the gaps with the raw points and go for it. I won't push back on that. I do like the handcuff here of Luka and Porzingis, but even if I just isolate Porzingis in and of himself at 7.5, I do think 40-plus fantasy points is a range of outcome here. Clint Capella on paper's in a good matchup. We've seen centers against the Mavericks go absolutely ballistic and have some massive rebounding games. DeAndre Ayton had 17 rebounds in his last 2 games against the Mavericks. Rudy Gobert, 12 and 20 rebounds in games against the Mavericks. But I think Kleber and Porzingis could tighten things up just a little bit. But I guess until proven wrong, we trust the stats. But there was a deep stretch there where Porzingis just was playing not every game, and Kleber's been out, and there was just more Willie Cauley-Stein in that front court. So I'm willing to be a little bit skittish on a near 9K Clint Capella, knowing that I need rebound and block potential to really get his upside. And the Dallas Mavericks, for what it's worth, are allowing amongst the fewest blocks per game in the league. So I don't know. I probably am kind of gritting my teeth on Capella here and wondering if the stats might trap me into thinking he's a better player than he is. And I think that price is enough to keep me away. Trae Young's kind of the guy that I will buy into. He's just had a slew of 50-plus fantasy point games. I did credit a lot of this to an extremely soft schedule. Washington, Brooklyn, Clippers without Kawhi, and PG, Minnesota. Like, it was a slew of really, really, really soft matchups. But he came through against the Lakers. 39 minutes against the Lakers, stay competitive. And I would say, if we're game log watching, what's a more consistent game log? As crazy as this sounds, what's a more consistent game log than Trae Young right now? In his last 10 games, there's 1 game under 45 and 8 above 50. So it would be Dallas who has been playing pretty poor defensively to stop it. But 9.5 on Trae Young here feels a lot like Westbrook yesterday. I just thought 50-plus fantasy points at a relatively cheap price is there. And with DeAndre Hunter still out, Bogdanovich inactive, I think the minutes are going to be Trae Young's. And if it stays competitive, the narrative between Trae and Luke is already there from that, who won the trade discussion. I Trae Young at 9.5 on DraftKings. Give it to me. I don't really have any pushback here. Everyone else is just kind of an auxiliary or supplementary play for me on the Hawks team. I think you can make a case for 3,400 Rondo to surprise some people. We've seen them drop 30 in 15 minutes. Sure, there's some revenge narrative against the Mavericks. Got it. But nothing else that I'm pushing the issue on. But if you have some lineups with Herder or Reddish, guys like that, I'm not pushing back. And the Mavs, I think I'm limiting my Mavs interest to just Porzingis and Luka. And I probably don't spin the wheel or make a deal with any of these 4 or 5K players from the Mavs, because I could just go look at a team like the Thunder or even the Wizards or something like that, Chad, what are we doing here before we move on to the next one? Tobias Harris running back with Hayward. All right. Seth Curry with his pops in the building. You like that? Seth and Del Curry's on the mic for the Hornets. I can get down with that. Sure. Why not? That's fun. Thoughts on Depot with no Wall, no SCA, or George. Louis, I think that's going to be a super smash trendy play. I will be breaking that game down fully in just a few minutes. The black cherry ones are fire. Yes, Jeff, I agree. The black cherry vanilla. I don't know if there's just black cherry, but got to be specific. Tim Hardaway Jr. revenge game. Come on, Dez. Come on, bro. Just bet the underdog against the Mavs, and you won't need a DFS or a job. Yeah, Capella got to be close to a tier 1 option. You think so? Solid picks. So I think on paper it makes sense. If you don't put context to the presence of a Kleber, Porzingis, and you're just looking at rebound rates, and like I said, I think the Mavericks should be assumed bad at rebounding until proven otherwise. We've literally seen 17, 20 rebounds against the Mavs in the last 5 games by a player, and we've seen Capella be extremely high on extremely big rebound games. But I think for me, I think at 8-8, I mean, you almost need, like, because he's not gonna pick up a lot of real scoring. Like, you almost need that 20 rebounds and 5+ blocks, and like I think this matchup really hasn't been there for blocks. I probably don't push the issue at nearly 9K, right? Like, there are massive games, or Portland and Minnesota, and those are 2 extremely terrible teams. So I don't know. I don't think he would be. I might not even have Capella, but I definitely couldn't see me putting him at tier 1. But if you got that feeling in your bad knee, go for it, buddy. Definitely all about everyone making their own decisions. THA always smashes ATL. We'll look it up. Tim Hardaway Jr. DKP by game log versus Hawks. Let's go last. We'll go last 10 games, but I feel like we might lose context here. 47, 47, 51, and then there's a 10 and 28. 222. Would this give me a box score with active players? So if I go down, will it? Player stats. So Dallas, Seth Curry. So this was a game without. Looks like there was no Luka or Porzingis in this game. To put a little context to that. So I would probably write that game off. And then the 47 is in 2018, and there was no Luka. So, yeah, man, I don't know, man. I'm a revenge nerd with the best of them, but I don't know if I'm going crazy with that. Sorry, jumped the gun. I get it. Porzingis looks good. Yeah, I like Porzingis. I'm playing Doncic with the scrubs. I'm with that. Would you play Capella over 13.5 rebounds? I feel like that is knocking on the door. But I guess in my, I have him. What do I have Capella at? I have Capella for 14.2. So I guess you could play the over, but it looks like it's a sweat. My projections have him over, but it's not fun. THJ got over 30 fantasy points this past 2 games, so I definitely like him for 35. I agree. That's true, Des. But also the last 2 games. Oh, you mean his last 2 real games? Wasn't Porzingis out for one of these games? And I don't know. I get it. 30. He needs 30, right? 5'6". He drops 30 tonight. Cool. I don't know. I don't know. What have point guards done versus Dallas last 5 games? Good question. I'll get you the answer. Un momento, por favor. I know Chris Paul had a super solid game. Chris Paul had back-to-back 60s, essentially. Mike Conley, 46. 34, and then Jamal Murray, 22. I think one of those Conley games without Mitchell. So I like Trae Young. Don't get me wrong. Trae Young has just been a model of consistency, as ironic as that is. But it's just Capella that I have a little bit of pushback on. Let's move on to the next game here. New York Knicks at the Chicago Bulls. Projects 35 for the Knicks. Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson taking on Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Larry Markkinen, and Daniel Gafford. A 217.5 total, a 2-point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine, another guy that's getting a nice little price dip, $8,500 for him. As we mentioned, this is a run back of, I think, their last game, and it's one of those fire and ice situations. Chicago, statistically on the season, running the 3rd fastest pace in basketball, and the Knicks running the slowest. So a bump up for the Knicks, a bump down for the Bulls, and you kind of meet in the middle on possessions in this game. I think the guy that we've just been watching is Emmanuel Quickley. What's the story on him? There's a slew of 30 fantasy point games in his last 5. There is one game where he just dropped 13 against Utah, but he's really turning into like a Jordan Clarkson part 2. That last game, 6 boards, 7 assists against this team. Did get 30 minutes, and that was the most minutes he had gotten really in that last stretch of games. So it really feels like Quickly's earning his keep here. Sure, we can tie some of these performances into blowout games, but at the same time, we're seeing him on the court with starters. So let's put a little context here. Take a minute to go and look at the popcorn machine minute breakdown for him in that Bulls game. And yeah, you see it. He closing that fourth quarter out on the court with Julius Randle, with R.J. Barrett, a little bit of Rivers, but Burks. So Elfrid. It looks like when the games are close in the fourth quarter, they don't want Elfrid Payton out there, right? Let Julius Randle and some of these other guards like Burks and Quickly facilitate and score. And I think that's what we saw in the game prior for the Knicks at was it the Clippers game? That game was a little bit of a blowout, right? A 15-point final total. But if you look at Quickly's fourth quarter, he played the entire fourth quarter, and he closed out with the starters: R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle. So I'm willing to believe that they're pushing too quickly here, and we've seen them phase some guards out completely. Dennis Smith Jr. is just not even part of the rotation. So is Quickly still a little too cheap at 5.5 considering this matchup, right? The pace-up matchup where you might see him be a massive part of the squad in the fourth quarter. Maybe there's some meat on the bone. And if you played Quickly, perhaps thinking about this context, don't sweat Quickly until the fourth quarter, because it seems like that's when they've really kind of been unleashing him. So, yeah, remember Emmanuel Quickly exists here today. Julius Randle on FanDuel at 8,600. I could probably be an investor in that. And Elfrid Payton is doggone cheap now. Looking at those minute rotations, 4.4 on FanDuel, 3,900 on DraftKings. Awfully cheap, all things considered. But I guess we understand why that's happening. On the Bulls side, Thaddeus Young, 5.8 on FanDuel, 5.9 on DraftKings. He just keeps getting it done. Especially on FanDuel. I was religiously playing him at 4K as a value play, but without Wendell Carter Jr. in his last 3 games, 39, 41, 43 fantasy points, and he dang near triple-doubled against the Knicks last time out. So, maybe not a tier 1 by any stretch of the imagination at 6K. I need that 30, but he's absolutely been just playing rejuvenated basketball, it looks like. And I think I'll have him in my player pool tonight. And hope for another solid performance from him. Otto Porter is questionable. If he were to be out, that'd be another bump here for Thad Young. Chat, what are you doing with this one? Are we going Kobe White? Are we going Zach LaVine, or we're staying away from them and going elsewhere? I think that AK LaVine price, I'm looking at Oladipo without John Wall at that rate. And then the Knicks side, is there any other Knicks other than Randall and Quickly that you guys are dabbling with? Maybe RJ Barrett at 64 still has a chip in a chair to drop 40 plus. 27, 31, 35. Yeah, maybe the matchup is ripe for him, and the shot attempts are going 14 plus and 4 or 5 games straight here. So it is what it is. Let's go check out what you guys got in the live chat. I'm so ticked they moved Young to center. They moved Thad Young to center on FanDuel, or oh. I did not notice that. That's pretty significant. That's extremely significant, actually. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. Lou Williams is one of his favorite players. Yeah. Poor kid getting memed for that. He's playing with his heroes. And Lou just dapped him up like he's a fan at a meet and greet outside of AutoZone in, I don't know, Poughkeepsie. Having a hard time quickly making this lineup. Oh, snap. Here we go with the puns. Hey, don't get me cranked up on puns, bro. I'll put you guys to shame. Quickly is a stud. He can get to the foul line, too. I'm a little worried if he has a bad shooting night, points will be very limited. I mean, Mark, we say that, but, the peripherals, it's not like the peripherals are non-existent, right? I guess in the games prior, right, 25 real points, but, man, 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds. And the reason why I'm willing to, think that that's not an anomaly. Maybe 6 and 7 is a little much, but could I get 4-4? It's the pace of this game, right? Clippers, Cleveland, Utah. Those are a couple of slow-paced teams. And then 24 minutes against Portland, we saw 3 and 4. I think if we up the pace with the Porters defense, I think there's at least a chance early on to assume that maybe that's not super anomalic just yet. Finally, Thad Young gets his triple-double night. Yeah, DSJ's in the G. Yeah, Dennis Smith Jr. was getting no playing time. He's like, bro, I just want a ball. Send me down, coach. I have no interest in Levine or Booker scoring dependent. No thanks. FanDuel's whack for Thad Young moves. Man, that at power forward was just hooking me up, man. Oof. Let's move on to the next game. Los Angeles Clippers at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Clippers night 2 of back-to-back. We didn't see any news on like a Kawhi resting, right? Like nothing like that has dropped. So I don't want to speak that into existence or whatever, but it's certainly players that we've seen eligible for load management purposes, such as Kawhi. So maybe brace yourselves for a surprise scratch or minimal minutes here. But projected starting 5 as of now for the Clippers: Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka taking on Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Taron Prince, and Andre the Giant Drummond. We've got a 219 total and an 8-point spread in favor of the visiting Clippers. Andre Drummond still listed as questionable. He did miss that last game, as I alluded to earlier in the stream. Drummond's certainly he's their rental. He's their ticket. So there's really no reason to push Drummond past what you think he should be doing, because you don't want to risk injury and kind of tank his trade stock. But he is dealing with a back injury. He missed Monday's game with the same back issue on the second leg of a back-to-back, but we'll have a better idea on his status for this game based on his activity level at Wednesday's shoot-around. If he's able to go, Jared Allen will likely head back to the bench, and Javal McGee likely falls out of the rotation. That's a blurb from Roto World. We do know Larry Nance Jr. is out, creating an opportunity for Taron Prince to, again, step up and be the beneficiary of 30-plus minutes. Do we think that, 5K-ish? I mean, he's right there at that 49.54, right, on either side, and there's so much potential value at that price point. That's kind of hard to love Prince in and of himself, but I get it. Darius Garland, 5'8", 5'9", Colin Sexton, 6'8", 6'9". It's really hard to love anyone from Cleveland, specifically in a lopsided spread and being a part of one of the slowest teams in basketball, bottom 5 in pace. Just seems like on a slate this big, I can get away with avoiding this game unless Drummond were to be out, and then I'd probably test my luck here on Jared Allen, even though his price is graduated to an aggressive 7K on FanDuel, but 6.5 on DraftKings. We've seen the potential upside there. I mean, 50-plus fantasy points is not out of the range of possibilities. However, this matchup probably a little bit tougher. Jared Allen, center only on DraftKings. Did they keep him at power forward on FanDuel? They did. So maybe he's worth a stronger shot on FanDuel if you don't want to technically give up that center spot. But 50-plus fantasy point potential is certainly a range of outcome here. And that's all I got to say about that. On the Clipper side, if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play, they both are Paul George and Kawhi Leonard last night. Both of them put up solid fantasy point production. If you rostered them, you're not mad because you rostered them, but you're mad because you played them instead of Fred VanVleet on FanDuel, right? Again, if you're thinking 40, 50s in the wheelhouse here, I think that's what we're expecting. I'm not really pushing the issue on anyone else yet, but the fact that if you are taking notes, like there would be a loose chance that Kawhi could sit, right? Like it's definitely one of those winnable games, and if Kawhi's already been one of the candidates for load management for the last couple seasons, there's a chance he doesn't play. And if he doesn't play, obviously the Paul George would spike up in interest. Reggie Jackson would spike up in interest. And yeah, so I guess you guys know what to do there. Serge Ibaka, I loved him last night. I like him in fast-paced matchups. I do think centers against the Cavs is something I could take advantage of. One of the things that the Cavs struggle against the most is defensive rebound rate, 75% defensive rebound rate. And they also give up a lot of blocks. For a team that runs this slow, it's actually kind of crazy how many blocks per game they are allowing. And I do think Ibaka could thrive in something like that. Cleveland is allowing the 5th most blocks per game in basketball. And that's just crazy considering how slow they are. So maybe Ibaka surprises us. He's averaging over a block per game. So if he had 5, 6, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, and maybe 5 to 10 points, if Kawhi were to be out, I definitely think he could be a stocking stuffer play. I am a little bit worried that the minutes weren't necessarily there for him last night. He only played 21 minutes and he was absolutely crushing it. I had him as a tier 1 on FanDuel. Luckily, he was fine, but I wanted more minutes. Maybe the pace and the small ball just pushed him out of there. But I think that this game stays a little bit bigger, and potentially we get a Kawhi out. We could see a 28-minute game, and I think he could absolutely do well. Mark says, I believe Kawhi wants to play. Fun guy, yeah. Favorite plays from this game? I'm working on it. I'd rather play Sabonis over Drummond. Would you play Drummond if he was in? 8-8, 8-4. I guess I wouldn't push back on it. 40-plus fantasy points. I think it's there. Reggie's been solid. Yeah, I could play 5-5, 5-4 Reggie against the Cavs. 28 minutes. Could I get 30-plus maybe? It is what it is. You like Okoro. Okoro's cheap. I don't know if I got a fantasy ceiling, right? Do I have slate breaking potential from Okoro? On this big of a slate, my value plays can't just be 20, right? I need the points, and I don't know that he has a ceiling worth gambling on, for me at least. Batum and Kawhi out, maybe. Batum was questionable yesterday. Ended up playing. Chad, if you guys anybody watching, this isn't anything reported. It's just speculation based on recent history. I'm more likely to be worried about Kawhi being out, and like I said, there's no quotes or literature that I've seen to suggest as such, but it seems very possible that the Clippers on night 2 of a back-to-back against a beatable Cavs team would likely be a spot, right? Let's move on to the next game here. Washington Wizards at the Miami Heat. Project starting 5 for the Wizards: Ish Smith, Bradley Beal, Danny Advia, Rui Hachimura, Robin Lopez taking on Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G buckets, Kelly Olynyk, Bam Adebayo, 227.5 total. The Miami Heat favored by 9.5. Russell Westbrook out, Raul Neto out. So Ish Smith, he's one of the first 4 to 5K guys that I think is worth talking about, because I do think minutes could be there for him. Now, with these guys out, I still have a lot of people ready to get some minutes for the Wizards, but when it comes to guard duties, it's probably Ish Smith, maybe some Jerome Robinson, maybe Garrison Matthews, something like that. But Ish Smith should lead everyone not named Bradley Beal in guard minutes. And yeah, could I get 30-plus fantasy points out of him? I certainly think we could. I think a lot of eyes will go straight to the Thunder game, but I do think Ish Smith could kind of turn some heads. So Bradley Beal, 10.8K on FanDuel, 9.7K on DraftKings. This might be one of those 40 real point L's for him, but I think Bradley Beal has proven that really it doesn't matter who the defense is. He's going to assume so much usage and just be a problem. Bradley Beal, DKP by game log without Russell Westbrook. Let's go last 5 games. 70, 64, 47, 47, 60. So 60-plus in 3 of his last 5. The 47s came against Minnesota in just 28 minutes, and then 47 against slower pace Orlando in 39 minutes. So if you put 35 minutes on the Wizards or on Bradley Beal here, I just don't see how he's going to net you less than 50 fantasy points with the usage that he does. And, even if we discuss, the defensive matchup might be a little tough against Jimmy or whatever, the guy can draw fouls. We've seen some elevated free throw games, 15 free throw attempts against Philadelphia, just chucking threes. I think I think I'm tired of like doubting Beal in tough matchups, and at 50 plus fantasy points at under 10K on DraftKings, I'd probably be a buyer. I'd do some meditating on his price point on Bradley Beal, but there's likely enough value that it wouldn't really break the bank to fit him in, right? Let me refresh Top Shot for 1 second. At the top of the hour, every hour, right? We got to double check. Pack not available. All right, we lit. Anyone else on the Wizards here that would probably dabble with? I think it gets really, really tough to trust or love anybody. Hachimura 4754. You might. There's just like who rebounds on this Wizards team? Like yikes. So this rebound rate without a Thomas Bryant, without a Russell Westbrook, man, I don't know if there's a rebound prop on Adebayo. But I'd be curious with it because this does not look like a sizable team, the Wizards, that might help us out. And even if like Mo Wagner gets some run, right? Wagner's been a high foul per minute guy anyway, so you don't really trust him to stick around long enough. And then you're just leaning on Robin Lopez. So, I might definitely dabble in some rebound props on the Heat if we get them low enough. Jimmy Butler, 8.5, 8.4, 50-plus fantasy points, certainly in the wheelhouse for him. It looks like he's back on his BS in terms of being Jimmy minutes. 37 minutes against Charlotte, 50 fantasy points. He's dropped 50-plus in 3 games straight, dating back to before his little sabbatical against this Washington team. And then, a pair of games against Sacramento and Charlotte. So no reason to not have some Jimmy tonight. Tyler Hero, 6K on FanDuel as a shooting guard, right? He was shooting guard last slate. Still a shooting guard if he does play. I definitely think this is a upside matchup to where he might dabble with 30-plus fantasy points. Charlotte and Sacramento a little bit yucky, but I think the shot volume is still there. So if you have a case for being a mid 30-minute player against the Wizards, I'd be a buyer. Yeah, double-digit shot attempts in those games. If he's down, Goran Dragic, who also is questionable, he moved to probable. Goran Dragic could step up as a great value play. He's been point-per-minute monster. If we can put 30 over him, if a Hero were to be out. Let me see. Hero is probable. Okay, so then it just might be 30 and 30. But Jimmy Butler and Adebayo are curious. I don't think Adebayo at 9K is going to shake me to my core. But, man, does this matchup look like it's extremely, extremely soft. Even softer than usual considering the rebound rates, right? Let's go look at the live chat before we move on. This game might be a blowout. It's certainly one of the games. I think it might be the largest spread on the slate, 9.5 points. Didn't Wizards blow out the Heat last year? Maybe last year. I have to look at it like, can Bam max out in 3/4 blowout factor? I'm taking a little bit of Advia. Yeah. For me, on the Wizards, I probably just have Beal and maybe a dab of Ish Smith. Just a little bit. I probably don't play anyone else. My heart still wants to believe that Davi Sportans is going to have a game sooner. And if he's pushing 30 minutes as one of the typically an efficient three-point shooter, right? 10 and 12 three-point attempts his last 2 games. Coming into the season, he was one of the best percentage volume shooters behind the arc. And, this is a little bit of not normal for him. So if he's going to get double-digit shots from behind the arc and he shoots closer to 40% than 20%, his big game might be coming. But I don't trust that the peripherals would be there to kind of like prop him up for super ceiling here. So we'll see. But that's it. Let's move on to the next game. Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Houston Rockets. Project starting 5 for the Rockets: Victor Oladipo, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, PJ Tucker, Christian Wood, taking on Theo Maledon, Hamidou Diallo, Lou Dort, Darius Baisley, and Al Horford. I feel like I just read out a spring training or a preseason lineup. 222.5 total, 7-point spread in favor of the Houston Rockets. The Rockets, since the Harden trade, have been defensive, I'm going to say juggernauts, but they've been a great defense on paper. They really have. And I think, we got a lot of stuff to prove players. Look at these scores: 136 to 106 against this OKC team, 126 to 112, 104 to 101. Like, teams are just not scoring a lot of real points on them. 133 to 108. They are getting it done. But now you take out John Wall, maybe take a little step backward, replacing some guard minutes from Wall to Eric Gordon or something like that. So maybe there's a little step backwards defensively, but the Thunder take a giant step back offensively, losing SGA here. The Thunder will present us a very small active roster for tonight. So I think even blowout be darned, these prices are just going to be too cheap. And I think this is your chalk stack, unfortunately. And I don't really have pushback. If you're getting a chance at 30-plus minutes on a Maladon, Diallo, Dort, even Al Horford might pick up some usage here. He's already had a string of solid games. Darius Bazley has shown some upside. So I definitely think we're going to see a lot of mass entry players kind of doing, maybe even setting rules, right? 3 Thunder and go from there. And I don't have an argument against it. Even Justin Jackson off the bench here, I got him for 26 minutes. We've seen him kind of be a PPM kind of guy in teams past, so it's a headache. This is going to be the headache of the slate, because you also know that this Thunder team probably presents a couple very lackluster plays, right? If any one of these guys give you 20, they probably don't help you win a tournament. So it's going to be ugly. There's not really much we can do to project or predict the usage or anything like that. I'm sure there's no minute sample size on the Thunder without SGA, without George Hill, whatever. You just kind of have to sweep through it and hope you're getting it right. On the Rockets side, no John Wall. Victor Oladipo's already been a guy out here hustling and bustling, usually giving you a strong case for 40-plus fantasy points. Just 31 against OKC because of the blowout. But now you take out John Wall. Could they stay a little bit closer? Could we up his responsibility a little bit longer until we get back to the north side of 40 fantasy points? I think that's plausible. I think it's possible. So I'm there on that. Christian Wood is moving down slowly, coming from that 9+ K range to the mid 8Ks. Could we get that 40-50 bomb out of him? Certainly believe so. Eric Gordon's a little bit uncomfortable, 4.954. But is there a shot that he leads this team in shot attempts, or at least the starters? I think there's a shot. Also, has it been like Eric Gordon confirmed starting? Is there a chance that Sterling Brown starts as point guard and Depot starts at the 2 and Gordon's still off the bench? Like, I don't know. I just pulled the starting lineup from RotoWire. I think that Sterling Brown looked pretty sharp in that one game he started as the point guard. So maybe look out for that. But for the most part, like I think I'd have some errant shots on a Christian Wood and Depot. But maybe I don't tier 1 it and worries that this game is just going to be either low scoring or yuck. 222? Would I take an under on that? I don't know. Chat, what are you doing here? The Wiz system is not for Davis. He was perfect in San Antonio. Davis Bertans, yeah. I think the Wiz system is like, I don't know. I don't even know what the system is. It's like, I don't know if they wanted to be a fast-paced track meet, better offense. Because there was a stretch, was it last season or the season before, where their offensive efficiency was great. It's just very bad defense. And we've seen a lot of people completely give up on defense and just challenge teams to outscore them. But I don't think they executed it as well as like the Rockets did. So it's yuck. Dad says Tate tonight. Like some Tate? All right. Louis says Wood or pay down a little to Boogie. DeMarcus Cousins 6'5" too. I really don't think like I can put enough minutes on DeMarcus Cousins for me to get there yet. I really need Wood to be out. We haven't seen Boogie get a large enough minute diet with Christian Wood in for me to pay 5 and 6K for. Even in a blowout, like I think I'm not convinced they would go to him. Van Jones says get some Matthews tonight. Also, at least 2 Thunder. You can pay up easily tonight. Yeah, I think a lot of mass entry guys will probably set rules to have at least 2, but I could see 3 Thunder. But like I said, the Rockets defensively have been a little bit scrappy, but I also think John Wall is a piece of that. So I don't know. Point Depot's got to be a tier 1 in this matchup. I don't see Depot ruining us, right? I feel like 40+ fantasy points is there. So I'll take it. I have to see how lineup construction goes, because if I'm going to load up on some of these 4K guys, like if we grab 2 of the 4 or 5K Thunder, and then maybe we dabble with like a under 5K-ish Smith, like I just feel like I'm going to be so tempted at that rate to grab a Giannis, grab a Luka, go get Trae Young. Like, I don't know. But I'm for sure there on Depot as a great play. I just don't want to get out raw pointed at that point with the value here. What is the pace of this game? I think it's going to be a medium pace. The Rockets have taken a little step backwards in pace without Harden upping their defense. And the Thunder, they're kind of an average pace team too. So, I don't know. I can also see this game just like being ugly. Like 222 is the total that I would not be shocked if this is like a 105, 103 game or something like that. Matthews is a good pick. You like Matthews? All right, let's move on to the next game. San Antonio Spurs hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Project starting 5 for the T-Wolves. D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Josh Okogie, Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid taking on Dejounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? LaMarcus Aldridge is out. Could this be the day? 8-point spread in favor of the home team, San Antonio Spurs. I think we're seeing a lot of trendy plays come out of this game early on as well. If we look at the team metrics tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and go to defensive rating, the Minnesota Timberwolves are a bottom 5 team in defensive efficiency. So the Spurs should have a chance to show up and show out. And I've already seen a lot of buzz on DeMar DeRozan. He's 6,900. Nice on DraftKings. A small forward, power forward eligible. Last time he was 6,900 or under 7K. He dropped 47. Curtin called with a 7 fantasy point game. Yikes. But under 7K, I definitely think without LaMarcus Aldridge, there's such a high probability of him dropping 40-plus fantasy points in this matchup that he's going to be extremely trendy. Let me see if we can pull up the on-off court tool from Fantasy Labs. So let me pull it up over here. Nobody look at their proprietary. Okay. Nope. Hit models, not on-off court tool. All right. On-off court tool is a free feature from Fantasy Labs. Go check it out. So we're going to pull up the San Antonio Spurs, and we're going to take LaMarcus Aldridge off. And I guess we'll just put DeRozan on. You can see Popcorn with Trey Lyles. Yeah, I can see that too. DeRozan, 28% usage rate of fantasy point per minute. Keldon Johnson, this one's interesting to me. A 25% usage rate, 124 minutes sample size, 1.2 fantasy point per minute. The reason why that's so intriguing to me is because Rudy Gay is out. And Keldon Johnson has that ability to drop 40+. 48 against Memphis, 38 against Denver, 44 against Houston. Like, it's in him to be a fantastic play. And you put him against the Minnesota Timberwolves without Rudy Gay, I think that there might be a longer leash on Keldon Johnson to get a little funky here. Let me put Lyles there in that bench since somebody brought him up. Jakob Poeltl, under 5K on both sides. I definitely think we've seen him be a point per minute historically. Is he even on this list? He is at just under a fantasy point per minute. I'll have Poeltl for sure. And Dejounte Murray under 7K on both sides certainly can get their point per minute. I probably like his DK price just a little bit more. But yeah, I think Keldon Johnson sticks out to me quite a bit on both sides. I might have tier 1 aspirations for Keldon Johnson, guys. I think I might. At least on FanDuel. That seems like maybe it just gets lost in the sauce on this slate. 5,700 small forward on FanDuel. Give me that 30 plus. I'm there. I'm in it. Looking at the live chat. Get your info. Oh, wow. Yo, shout out to Dang Lazy Mofo, bro. Always keeping the chat in check. Also got to look at DeRozan, K. Johnson, Patty Mills. You like Patty Mills? I wouldn't. I don't have any pushback on it, so I'm okay with that. But I do like the starter there, the Murray, Keldon, and DeRozan trifecta. FanDuel locks. I don't know about locks, but I might be way overweight on Keldon Johnson. Devin Vassal's a good value play tonight. Keldon's a lock for me tonight. All right. Devin Vassell, they're really cheap on both sides. If you thought that game got away, yeah, sure. On the T-Wolves side, it should be noted that we've got a couple of Qs. We get caught up on that. Starting with D'Angelo Russell. Listed as questionable with a quad. He looked fine in his return to action on Monday. Logged 29 minutes on his way to 18 points, 3 triples, 4 assists, and 1 steal. So we'd expect to see him tomorrow with it not being a set. All right, so he's just carrying that Q tag, which was the same Q tag from prior to the last game. Juancho Hernan-Gomez, doubtful. Karl Anthony Towns out. Naz Reid, probable. And yeah, is D'Angelo Russell too cheap at 68? The T-Wolves have kind of regressed into what they were last season or the season before, where they were just like, holy cow, these are 12 guys that are all going to get 15, 20 minutes. But under 7K, is there a chip in a chair there for D'Angelo Russell to turn some heads? Like, could he outscore DeRozan? I think it's a fantastic question. 19 shot attempts in that Cleveland game. The fact that he got sub 30 minutes is worrisome, but at the same time, you kind of expected that. Night 2 of a back-to-back. They're kind of watching him with the quad injury, so maybe they're not trying to push him too much. But man, the shot volume's there, and if we can get some of those peripherals back, could we get back to that 40+ fantasy point D-Russ? I probably am like very, very, very low on him just because he's just been so consistent on the season. But man, is that price getting a little dippy. Who will back up Jakob Poeltl? Drew Eubanks and Trey Lyles. Seems like it. I'll be stacking the Spurs much more than the Houston OKC game. I'm with that. Why would you play Vassell? They have bodies. I think if they're talking about playing Devin Vassell, it's probably more of a game theory blowout play. But certainly think there's plenty of value at the guard spot tonight where we don't want to get too cute on this big of a slate. So don't cap yourself with a 20 fantasy point glass ceiling guy. I have Vassell for 10 right now, so I don't think I wouldn't entertain it, but I get the thought process on it. Shuffling around would be fine. Minnesota's terrible. Jared Allen dropped 60. Jared, hey, don't hate on Jared Allen. What's up, WWF Fresh? Appreciate you stopping by, man. Much love. Let's move on to the next game. Phoenix Suns at the New Orleans Pelicans. Project starting 5 for the Suns. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, McCall Bridges, Cameron Johnson, DeAndre Ayton. Taking on Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe. Where's my color code over here? Oh, no, is there not a color code on? I guess not. Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Stone Cold Steven Adams. We got 2-2-2 and another 1-2 total. 3.5 point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. So I think this game will play a little tighter defensively. Defensive rating on the Phoenix Suns, 107.9 points per 100 possessions. If we put that in the grand scheme of things, that's a top 5 defense. They did get Devin Booker back in the mix, so I'm a little bit skittish to go overboard. New Orleans Pelicans, their defensive efficiency has certainly dipped back to bottom 10, and I think if they're without Steven Adams again, that'll hurt them even more so. Pace-wise, we got Phoenix as the 4th slowest team in basketball. New Orleans is closer to league average, but still should be a pace-down spot, right? So there's not a lot that I'm going to go bananas over, but I feel like I'll have some auxiliary shares of always Ingram and Zion, like 8-1, 8K. I just always feel like I got a chip in a chair for 40+ fantasy points. And then we've seen some decent games out of Lonzo lately, but I think this is more of a median range of outcome where 30 fantasy points is probably it, and I don't know that I need to go out of my way to get that 30 here, and that's probably not even a median range of outcome. That's probably a little bit more of a higher ceiling range of outcome. Maybe the median's more like 25. On the Sun side, Chris Paul, even with Devin Booker, with a 60 bomb. 8,300 for him on DraftKings, 8K on FanDuel. Again, I think at the 8K price range, I'm looking for anything that gets me to the north side of 40 fantasy points. And I think he's a cute 1v1 to Oladipo. And I could see both cases, right? Oladipo potentially in a blowout against a G League Thunder team. Maybe Chris Paul's the lesser owned there. You get some leverage out of him and likely get maybe deeper minutes out of him and perhaps a more competitive game against his old city. Devin Booker's kind of cheap on both sides, but really hasn't shown that Devin Booker upside with this team playing the way that they have this season, a little bit more balanced. And DeAndre Ayton, 8.274. It is what it is. You think 40 plus is there, it's there. Steven Adams, if he does miss, we saw Jackson Hayes draw a start and just be kind of irrelevant. Maybe more of the same here going against this defense, so I'm probably not going to shake my approach on that. But I think if Adams did miss, I'd probably be a little bit more keen on Zion Williamson and hope he can make up some more rebounds or something like that. Chat, what do you know with this one before we get out of here or before we move on to the next game? Oh, I didn't do the Stone Cold Steven Adams intro. My bad. Look at you guys. Stone Cold Steven Adams. He's going to get one board. What? He may not play, though. So, it is what it is. I'm proud that you guys like some of these player quirks that we got. I don't have an update on him. What I do know is Steven Adams is a tough son of a bee from New Zealand, right? So I feel like I wouldn't expect him to miss too much. He was dealing with a right calf, so we'll see if he's out. If he's in, I probably don't play him anyway. But yeah, if he's out, you might project some better minutes for Jackson Hayes, but we'll see. Hornets coach just said Rozier may not start tonight. Did that just drop? Let me refresh Fantasy Labs. Does that mean Rozier may not play or just may not start? I didn't see Labs corroborate that, but I believe you, Des. All right, we got one game left on the docket. Take a pause for the cause. Chat, help me out. Hit that thumbs up, man. It's been kind of a lazy Tuesday afternoon stream. So show some love. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll tell you guys about the RunDFS.com VIP sub club. If you guys want access to the spreadsheet that I've been using and navigating throughout the duration of the stream, you guys can click away at your convenience and do your own research. It is a premium perk of having a subscription at RunDFS.com. Go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, click VIP passes. There's several passes available right now. Week pass, 2-week pass, month pass, all-star to all-star break. That'll get you locked in until the baseball all-star break. And it sounds like they're going to start on time. So we expect the baseball all-star break to be around the second week of July. And then the year pass, I probably should take down the year pass, but it's up there. So if you guys want to lock in and hang out with me every day for the whole year, that's an option. Before lock, I do a 2-hour pre-lock voice chat for every main slate on NBA. Every now and then there's a Sunday afternoon. Well, I won't be there, but you guys can, when you do subscribe on RunDFS, you go to forums, you click VIP onboarding thread. That'll have a link to this spreadsheet and a link to this Discord invite link. You get in there. We have the NBA chat. We have the props and betting chat, which is a new feature this week. And also we added the Top Shot chat. So if you guys have been grinding Top Shots, I want to talk some plays in there, we'll be there. Jake is really smart. And then also, my girlfriend likes to post pictures of our cat a lot. So if you're into cats, go check that out. But we'll be in the pre-lock voice chat for the 2 hours prior to lock, chatting it up. Would love to be... would love for you guys to join that. If you guys have a mic, you're welcome to join the conversation. If you just have a headset and a keyboard, you could just interact in the NBA channel and listen in, and it's a good time. And also, I'll be listing my full-on player pool for both FanDuel and DraftKings, my tier 1s, 2s, 3s, my favorite values and whatnot. It's a gay old time. We'll have fun. Main event tonight. Before we get to the main event, let's get caught up on chat. Chat, thumbs up. Might be a Falo game. Okay. Louis says, according to Basketball Monster, Coach Borrego made it sound like there's a chance Rozier will come off the bench behind LaMelo Ball if he's cleared to play Wednesday. But definitely, I think we all saw the writing on the wall that LaMelo would be the starting point guard eventually. And I do think Devontae is better serviced as a shooting guard. Maybe that's a little faster, but hey, LaMelo potentially with his first home start, I'm there. I think Rozier's playing. Seems like he's going to come off the bench. Cool. All right, main event tonight, Boston Celtics, night 2 of a back-to-back, taking on the Sacramento Kings. Project starting 5 for the Celtics, Jeff Teague, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson, taking on De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. We got 226 total, a 1-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Now, I did the Vegas totals before I think the Kemba news came out. Or no, I think I did it after. Anyway, 1-point spread. Yeah, 1-point spread. All right, 224 I have is the total now. So Celtics catching night 2 of a back-to-back. Last night we saw Steph Curry just go full-on Curry mode, and now the Celtics will be down Kemba Walker, and they are down Marcus Smart. So I think we're going to put big minutes on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. This is our late-night hammer. Sacramento Kings. We pull up that team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and sort it by defensive rating. Sacramento Kings are the worst defense in all of basketball, and it's not necessarily close. So I do think there is a big game coming from Jaylen Brown. I don't know, man. I got that feeling in my bad knee. I think Jaylen Brown could drop a smooth 60 tonight. So let's go pull up the Boston Celtics. Do a little bit on-off and going on. Let's take off Marcus Smart. Let's take off Kemba Walker. And I guess let's put on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown leads the team in usage this season, just 45 minutes of sample size. Not enough to write home about. In that, he's got a 1.3 fantasy point per minute production. Jason Tatum, 32.1% usage rate, 1.2 fantasy point per minute production, 45 minutes. In and of itself, if we just trusted 45 minutes of sample size there, both those players probably look like elite plays tonight. Let's see if we can't elongate on those on that sample size and those numbers. And let's go look at last year running the same thing. Usage rate, Jason Tatum at 33% in 156 minutes, just under a point per minute. And Jaylen Brown holds on to that 1.3 fantasy point per minute production at a 26% usage rate at 156. So I'm thinking Jaylen Brown is that dude for me right now. He's 8,700 on FanDuel. That's probably a high price to pay, but I think 50-plus fantasy points is at least a range of outcome that I would have some shares of. And then on DraftKings at under 8K, I think 50-plus is in the wheelhouse. And I think just 40-plus is a given. So give it to me. I'll take that. Daniel Tice last night, I liked him as a value play on FanDuel. He did just fine for me. I don't mind going back to the well here against a porous Kings defense in front court. He had 11 boards last night. A little bit of everything to get me another 27. So I'll probably be right back there on Daniel Tice as a stock and stuff for late night hammer. TT... I guess TT has a case at this price point on both sides, but I just can't see myself getting up at center spot, right? He's not secretly a power forward, is he? He is secretly a power forward. That's interesting. Why is he a power forward? 25 minutes last night, 19 fantasy points. Man, TT in this spot? The Sacramento Kings, defensive rebound rate's low. I don't know, man. That's a little weird. Looking at the Kings side, though, De'Aaron Fox, 8,200 on FanDuel, 8,500 on DraftKings. Des says, is Fox a big play tonight? Well, I think if we got this game being a 1-point spread, we're getting competitive basketball. Fox is doing that thing, or he's getting into that little groove here. 63, 47 fantasy points his last 2 games. Toronto was a down game here, but if we're looking for 40-plus, I think he can get us that. I do think that the median range of outcome is probably 38 to 43 fantasy points, and that's probably the bare bones min of what you would accept at his price point. But unless you think he just would, play big against Jaylen Brown, just kind of feel it in the moment, I probably ain't going crazy with it. I think my soft projections, right at 41, 42. So I'm not pushing any astronomical ownerships on him. Marvin Bagley's dipped to under 6K on both sites. And Rashawn Holmes, 7K on FanDuel, 6,400 on DraftKings. there's not a whole lot here for me to plant upside on the Kings. I do think one or two of these Kings guys will excel, but compared to the rest of the slate, I don't know if I'm going to prioritize them. Tyrese Halliburton's moved to 5'6", 5'4". He's been their sixth man, pretty good fantasy production, but it's usually around the 30 fantasy point area, and I think 5'6", 5'4", it's really nothing that's going to go bananas. So unless you just want some stocking stuff for guys who hit value as late night hammers at that same token, I'm not really going crazy here, but give me Brown, give me Tatum, give me Daniel Tice. I think Brown's my favorite Celtic. Jeff Teague at 47 on DraftKings. I'm probably out on 42 on FanDuel. Like I don't feel like I'm getting a crazy deal. Could I get the north side of 20? Remember, there's no Peyton Pritchard, no Kemba, no Marcus Smart. Could Jeff Teague be secretly in line for like 30 minutes? Him and Javonte Green, Carson Edwards. Like I don't know. I could just see Jaylen Brown playing point guard for the bulk of this game, and then like we're getting more wing and big minutes on like Ojale and Robert Williams and guys like that. So it's really hard to predict what Brad Stevens might do. 17, 15. Yeah, I'm probably not going nuts with this value guard situation for the Celtics. Just give me Jaylen Brown. All right, chat. That's the slate. That's everything on the slate. What do you guys got? Lasting questions, comments, concerns. If you want to revisit a stat move, something like that, we'll go for it. Otherwise, if you are getting out of here to go catch another show or something like that, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on your way out. And double check see if you are subscribed. If you want to be notified when I go live and get that push notification on your phone, hit that notification bell. But I'm still here for a couple minutes if you guys are vibing. I have a funny story to share with you guys if you guys really want to hear a personal life story. There's no reason Fox won't run through the Celtics with no Smart the same way Curry did. We're undervaluing Smart defense. Yes, but I also think you're undervaluing Curry's offense. So I'm with you on the thought process. I definitely think there's a big step backwards on the Celtics in terms of their guard and wing defense without Marcus Smart. But Steph Curry, man. That dude is a beast. So I don't know that Fox's game is that similar to a Curry game, and where he's just gonna pull up 25 shot attempts, and a million from three. I typed in Curry while I was saying Curry. He does chuck threes, but he's not as efficient as Curry. I don't know. I get what you're saying though. I definitely think like Fox is playable, and I'll have Fox. I'll probably have like tier 3 exposures to Fox, but I don't want to undervalue Curry's offense while also undervaluing Smart. So he made it happen. Teague is a trap. They'll play anyone besides him. I'm kind of with that. W. German, believe at all-in player versus team stats. Buddy Hield has a track record of going off against the Celtics with 291 FanDuel fantasy points. 8 Kings versus Boston his career. I think that I read that a little bit more confusing, but essentially we can just stat use it, right? DKP by game log versus Celtics last 10 games. Yo, that train is so obnoxiously loud. Buddy Hield has 3 straight 50s against the Celtics. That's interesting. 42 minutes, 38 minutes, 35 minutes, 38 minutes. So he's played 35 or more minutes in 4 straight games against the Celtics. Has put up incredible numbers. I mean, that's a good find. That's dating back to March of 2019, though. Actually, all these games are in 2019 now that we think about it. So maybe we just throw that out the window. There's no De'Aaron Fox. I mean, look at this team. Bielisa, Rashawn Holmes, Kojo, Harrison Barnes. Probably going to say that the context is going to kill the joy here. Looking at the other game as well. Hield, Barnes, Bielisa, Rashawn Holmes. Yeah, he was their D'Angelo Russell. So I probably don't. I'm probably not doing it there, but that's a good find. Jaylen Brown or Jimmy Butler? Ooh, I think I'm going Jaylen Brown just because I got a tighter projected spread. Jimmy Butler, I think that game could get lopsided, and the Heat are a little bit more balanced talent-wise and offensively. Center position on FanDuel. Thoughts? Thanks. Sure. FanDuel. Let's pull up FanDuel. Embiid, if he's a full go, Embiid could be the highest scorer on the slate. So if you feel like there's enough value on the slate in these other positions, and you go get those raw points from Embiid, 50 to 60 fantasy points is not a crazy range of outcome. And we know the Sixers have been a little less dominant on the road, and this Charlotte front court is so small. So Embiid should just be able to bully for 4 quarters. The rest of the center position is really, really tough. Al Horford might get a bump in responsibility with that situation. Thad Young might still be a play here. We've seen his history in the last couple games without Wendell Carter. If Otto Porter's out, I also think that's a plus. But I think Thad Young's just been balling at under 6K, 40-plus fantasy point potential. Cody Zeller isn't a fun, comfortable click, especially going against Embiid in the Sixers defense. But without P.J. Washington, Cody Zeller might play just really deep minutes. 34 minutes is maybe not an asinine projection. And if he can just be a point-per-minute guy, we'll take it. Jakob Poeltl potentially here in a prime matchup without LaMarcus Aldridge. He's been a point-per-minute type of guy, so I like him as well. And those are probably like the 4 or 5 guys I would key in on, and I'd probably have the most invested in Joel Embiid as it stands now. I think 50 fantasy points is a very, very reasonable range of outcome. What's up with Brandon Ingram tonight? I think I coin flip Ingram and Zion. I think Zion is kind of the guy that wins the coin flip more often lately, with Lonzo playing a little bit better. And I think Ingram and Zion, or really Ingram's big ceiling games, probably need elevated amounts of assists like we saw earlier in the season. So I'd probably lean on Zion more than I would Ingram, but I wouldn't have no Ingram. Sack might be the play. Tice for the win. Yeah, I'm with Tice. Chat, if you guys are on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker, hit me with that follow, man. Show some love. Retweet the content when we tweet it out. Chat, you guys ever heard of 23andMe? A little fun personal story, I guess, before we get out of here. It's not even a personal story. It's just like crazy to me. 23andMe, I guess, is like one of those DNA test kits, and you take it, you mail it in, and you find out your genealogy. You find out, if you're Irish or whatever. My mom took one of those. She mailed it in, and she got her results back. And she found out that she has a brother she didn't know about. And the brother was 43 years old, and she reached out to him. They connected. It's pretty crazy. But in my mind, it's just wild. My grandpa got busted for cheating. 43, like my grandpa's he's on the last leg, man. My man thought he got away with it. 43 years later, he finds out. Apparently he got with a coworker, but I don't know why that just tickled me pink when I found out that the man got busted 43 years later due to a 23andMe mail-in kit. So you guys out there, maybe if you take those 23andMes or anything like that, brace yourself. You might get shocked. Your grandpa may not be as innocent as you want him to be. I don't know, man. Anyway, guys, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat in about 20 minutes, talking up the slate, shooting a breeze here. I'll be making my player poll, stuff like that. So if you guys want to be in on that, I'd be glad to onboard you over it in the VIP process. What is tomorrow's schedule looking like? Those kids are dangerous. Yo, bro, those kids ruining how to be a player, bro. 5 games tomorrow. It's a late lock. So probably going to be a 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. stream. Warriors at the Mavs, Jazz at the Hawks, Blazers at the Sixers, Rockets at Grizzlies, Nuggets at the Lakers. We all make mistakes. My grandpa is currently he's out of there, man. He's suffering from dementia. He's just really he's hanging on by a thread. You know what I mean? But it's just like crazy to me that man, right before he's going out, bro, he got busted, bro. Almost got away with it too. Oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Those bangs really work? I don't know. I think if your body, like, I drink it so often, maybe your body should build up a tolerance to caffeine. So maybe you cycle through them, right? 300 milligrams of caffeine, probably not great, but it just tastes so effing good that I just can't quit them, man. I love them. But no sugar, no crash, nothing like that. But I'm not an affiliate to them, but I love them. They're my favorite drinks. Anyway, hopefully that tickled you guys as well. Be careful out there. You know, if you guys have some affairs from 15, 20 years ago, just know that it might catch up with you. I don't know. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. or 3. No, yeah, we'll do 4 p.m., 3 p.m. I'll be in the Discord chat. I love you guys. I hope you crush it tonight. Shoot me them screenshots. I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.